Long ago, in a crooked valley carved by time and river, lay a village where silence had been long forgotten. The people of Grellenheim chattered from sun-up to moonrise. They spoke while baking, while hunting, while praying, while sleeping. They spoke to animals, to shadows, even to the wind. No thought was left unspoken, no secret left unspilled. It was said that a child born in Grellenheim learned to talk before he learned to crawl, and would not stop, even in dreams. Among these noisy folk was a little boy named Emil. He was no older than 8, with a mop of straw-colored hair and a voice that ran faster than his feet. Emil spoke of everything: the shape of clouds, the color of beetles, the way the baker's nose twitched when he lied. His mother, a weary woman who worked the village well, would sometimes cry not from sorrow, but from the sheer noise of her son. One autumn day, when the geese flew south and the wind carried whispers from the woods, Emil overheard the old blacksmith muttering beneath his breath, "Best not speak too loud near the witchwood. There's a tree in there that eats what it hears." The other villagers laughed, but Emil's ears, always hungry, caught those words and held them tight. The witchwood was no ordinary forest. It stood hunched on the edge of the valley, like an old woman in mourning. Its trees were twisted like candle wax in a furnace, and no birds sang beneath its canopy. Some said the forest had been cursed by a dying queen. Others claimed it was planted by witches, watered with tears instead of rain. Children were warned never to enter it, not because of wolves or wild men, but because of the tree. They called it the still root, and it lived at the heart of the forest, older than the oldest grave and taller than the church steeple. Its bark was black as burnt bread, and its branches moved even when there was no wind. But most feared its hunger. The still root, they said, fed not on sunlight nor soil, but on silence. For every word you spoke in its shadow, it would take a secret from you. The louder you were, the deeper it listened. Emil, of course, could not resist. The idea of a tree that fed on silence made him itch with curiosity. What would it do if he sang to it? What if he shouted? Would it grow taller? Would it speak back? So one morning, before the sun had burned the frost from the grass, Emil crept away from his home. He left no note, for writing was too slow. He brought no food, for his mouth was too full of questions. All he carried was a slingshot, a half-eaten apple, and his voice. The witchwood greeted him with groans and creaks, as if it resented being disturbed. Still, Emil pressed on, his feet crackling through the leaves. He spoke as he walked. Of course he did. He talked to the trees, to the stones, to a toad that blinked at him from a puddle. He whistled and hummed and made up riddles for squirrels. Then somewhere near midday, the forest grew very still. Too still. No wind, no rustling, no bird song. Even Emil noticed it, though he did not fall silent. Instead, he whispered, "Have I found you, still root?" The tree was enormous. Its roots sprawled across the ground like sleeping snakes, and its trunk was so wide 3 oxen could not have encircled it. Its bark shimmered faintly, as though whispering secrets back to itself. When Emil approached, he felt a strange tightness in his chest. His heartbeat slowed, his tongue itched. Still, he spoke. "Are you hungry?" he asked the tree. "Because I never stop talking." The branches shivered. So Emil told it a joke, then a poem, then a story he'd made up about a talking badger who ran a bakery. The more he spoke, the more the tree seemed to move, just slightly, toward him. Then it happened. With every word Emil said, he felt something leave him. A thought, a memory, a name. First, he forgot the word for puddle, then bread, then his grandmother's smile, then his own name. Still, he talked. Once there was a boy who... He began, but could not finish. He did not remember what he was saying or why. The tree had grown. Emil could see it now. It had thickened. Its bark rippled with faint outlines, like mouths pressed against cloth. He wanted to scream, but he had no voice. He wanted to run, but his legs would not obey. A whisper curled from the branches above, like smoke. You gave me sound. Now I take what lies beneath it. In that moment, Emil saw faces, dozens, hundreds, embedded in the trunk. Some wide-eyed, others weeping, mouths open in silent screams. Voices that had spoken too much, thoughts that had become food. And then, like a candle snuffed, the world went dark. When Emil opened his eyes again, it was night. The forest had released him. His legs moved, and his voice had returned. But he did not speak. Not a word. He walked home in silence, past the trees, past the sleeping toad, back to the valley where the people talked. But Emil never talked again. He grew older, quieter, thoughtful. People called him the mute, and children made faces behind his back. But he only smiled softly, eyes older than his years. No one knew what had happened in the forest, and Emil never told. For some secrets are better left to the roots. Those who speak without end will one day be listened to by something that hears too well. And sometimes it listens back.